The investment game is changing fast. From geopolitical changes to the rise of AI, we're seeing so much happen in such a short period of time. And Alice Chen is here with us. She's at the forefront of how private equity is evolving and what to look for. So, Alice, I really wanted to dive in a little bit and ask you, what trends are you seeing in the private equity space right now? What do we need to be paying attention to as investors? Talk to me a little bit about trends and what might be changing in this digital age.
Yeah, sure. So I will speak from the vantage point of a real estate private equity investor. So I think what I am seeing is a movement away from maybe what's popular a couple years ago. So during COVID, it seems like everyone and their neighbor started a multi-family real estate syndication. And a lot of these deals are unfortunately under the water because of the interest rate hike that took place in certain places even are experiencing falling rents, right? So I think as an investor looking for passive income or looking to achieve financial freedom through passive investing, I think one should be more open-minded to look at different asset categories. So I'm seeing a lot of asset categories that are emerging. For example, I'm in land development, and the reason why we took 2 years to study different strategies under the sun in the United States market and decided to land on land investment or land development is because, well, one, we're looking for a big sustained problem. So I don't know if you know, but there's actually currently a 4.8 million deficit in single family homes in the United States. And this was a problem that started to pent up since the last financial crisis of 2010, right? So the national home builders like the DR Hortons of the world, the Lennars of the world, these a lot of them are public companies. They started to underbuild in those macroeconomic conditions, and so that created this pent up supply and demand gap. And this gap is not it's actually widening, it's not narrowing, just because even in the last couple months with the uncertainties concerning tariffs and this and that, again, that continues to that continues to prolong this problem. And so, as a private equity firm, we're looking for a problem that's big enough that we can solve over time, right? Because we have to apply a lot of the bandwidth and human capital and infrastructure into solving this problem. So, the second trend I'm seeing is that what's interesting is that there's no shortage in terms of the people's desires to have housing, as well as there's this trend towards worker housing or BTR, build to rent. So these are single family homes that are for rent, not to be bought but to be rented, and a lot of times they are being built around maybe, I don't know, like a gigafactory of some sort, right? Maybe Nvidia, I know, is spending a lot of money building in Austin, and of course Tesla, and then there's a lot of like technology or other type of big industries. They're building plants or building research centers, and so they need to have people that go there to work, and so you need to have worker housing, like adequate, comfortable worker housing where the tech workers can bring their families over there, right? And to continue kind of the company mission. But the families will have children, and you want to make sure that in that neighborhood, there's actually the right kind of infrastructure of schools and playgrounds and that kind of master plan communities. So I'm seeing this trend towards BTR, build to rent communities. So that is also known as horizontal multifamily. I'm seeing trends of smaller houses being built in these master plan communities because maybe the I think the household formation numbers are maintaining, even though it seems like the younger people are having less children compared to previous generations. But it doesn't mean the number of household formations is dropping because we are encountering all kinds of permutations in household formation. There's people downsizing, the boomers are downsizing. There's also couples splitting up, going from one household into multiple households. Of course, there's still young families being formed, young professionals looking for their own starter home. So there's all kinds of combinations. So I think this trend towards worker housing, BTR, single family homes adapted towards the current demographic trends, I see that as a pretty kind of obvious trend that's happening in front of us. Another thing that I've been really kind of geeking out on, and this is related to AI, so I think you'll find this interesting as well, Jen. So if you think about it, in probably 5, 10 years, I believe that every single house will be built through a modular format, right? So these are steel frame modular homes where the homes are built in parts and pieces in a factory, right? So much like a car factory is assembling different parts of a car, and then they make a car, right? So same thing, like they're producing bits and parts and pieces of the house, and then they are then shipping everything onto the site and then doing the on-site assembly. So everything can be probably built by 3 robots in 3 days. And so if you understand that, then you need to understand the implications of that. So what does that mean for the value of the actual house, right? It's going to be greatly diminished. So then in terms of looking at real estate as an investment, then what will actually hold the value? Like what is actually a resource that isn't infinite, right? Then I think you then look at land, because land is not an infinite resource. It's definitely finite, and once you have built, throughout the land, and then that's it. You can't generate more land, right? So I think these are kind of the trends that are kind of keeping me very engaged late at night, thinking through these kind of problems and the implications for society.
Well, and what you're discussing right now, I've seen these same trends. I've been looking at it, and actually a BTR. I passed by a BTR that just recently finished development and has started to lease nearby where I live. And you're absolutely right. We have to look at what's shifting and where it's going, and that's just an entrepreneurial view for investors. We have to be thinking longer term, and what's that? How can we leverage technology or AI to help us with some of this due diligence on the investor side? Like, what are some of the ways that investors watching this, or even founders who are looking to get into the investment game to build or generate or grow wealth? Like, what are some of the ways that we can leverage technology so we can formulate our due diligence on where we're going to put our money?
Yeah, so I'm, a big fan of GPT. I work with it every day, and I think even just typing in like the investment you're looking at, right? And then typing it in and asking GPT to generate a list of the due diligence questions. Like my firm like we have our own proprietary 8-page process when we're looking at how to or who to deploy the capital to, but you can find similar examples online, and you can just interact with AI to basically have AI synthesize the best due diligence list that you should ask when looking at a passive investment. So be it a syndication or a fund, I think that's very informative. You can also ask AI to compare and contrast. So maybe you have decks from different investments, and then you can let GPT know, okay, well, I'm looking for growth. I'm looking to optimize for growth, or I'm looking to optimize for immediate cash flow, right? So two different buckets, like very different styles of investing. So one, you're looking to multiply your capital in a short time. Another one, okay, well, maybe your return is not as great, but you're looking for that immediate drip in terms of passive income. So you have to know exactly what you're looking for, and then you input the data, you input the different selections, and then you can ask AI to help you compare and contrast and compare it to historical data, right? So you can ask it to compare fund managers in the same space, in the same asset category, and to get a sense of the comp. So a lot of the stuff that I think, analysts at investment banks or private equity firms, the stuff that they used to do, now you have your best friend, you have GPT or other AI companion. They can do that for you. So really this knowledge is democratized. And I'm very, actually personally very excited about the fact that this is now democratized.
Oh, you and me both. It really is making it accessible, and it demystifies a lot for us, because what's happening is we now can have access to things that we used to have to trust someone else, and they didn't necessarily always have our best interest in mind as like from an investor standpoint. So talk to me a little bit. I know you have a fund for land development. Talk to me a little bit about how people can reach you and learn more about what it is that you're doing, why it's a problem we should be caring about, and why we should be thinking about diversifying our portfolio to include land development.
Yeah, so I'll give you a very brief overview of exactly what we do. What we do is we're capital partners to best-in-class land developers in the country. And what's a land developer? A land developer is a company that works on either land entitlements or horizontal development. So they turn raw land into finished lots for the national home builders like the D.R. Horton, Lennars, or regional players to come in and start building houses, right? So build vertically. So we love this model because let's take horizontal development as an example. So a horizontal developer will typically be approached by one of these home builders, and the home builders, they will say, "Hey, Mr. Horizontal Development, we have this entitled piece of land. We want to build this master plan community of 1,000 homes. Can you help us with that?" Right? And so our land developer partner will buy the entitled land from the home builder at, call it $30,000 a lot. They'll do the horizontal development, meaning putting roads and infrastructure onto this tract of land. And then when they finish, they will sell it back to the home builder at $70,000 per lot. But this process is actually papered, contracted on day one. So before they do anything, the exit's already built in, it's already papered. So talk about risk mitigation. So we really love a business model where the exit is actually built in. I mean, in my 16 years of being a serial founder, I have not seen this model elsewhere. So we really love this model because of that. And if you would like to connect with me or get more information about my fund or even education materials, I invite you to check out my personal website. It's alicechencompanies.com. Chen is Chen, alicechencompanies.com.
Thank you so much, Alice. It has been such a pleasure. You have been a wealth of information for us. I appreciate you coming today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
And you, yes, you, unfortunately, all good things come to an end, including this show. But the good news is we'll be here, same time, same station next week. Until then, win today, win this week, and I'll see you next time.